Hey everyone, welcome back to another World of Warships Blitz video. So today I kind of wanted to talk about a couple things and issue like a personal challenge to you guys. So, when I started this channel up and decided to do this, I really wanted to get some basic battleship fundamentals out there for everybody to see. And do the live commentary so you guys could see me putting my own advice into good use. Put my own advice into use. We're talking about how I built my commanders, equipment, all that stuff. Like I said, the big thing is during the videos, trying to talk you through why I'm doing certain things so you guys can see it, and see it in action. And I've been kind of focusing on tech trees for the most part because, honestly, that's where you learn your basic fundamentals. And to let you guys know that the tech trees are, they're just as viable with all the ships out there. They're all the tech tree battleships in some way are viable ships to play. So I really wanted to show that off. So, but I've been thinking about stuff, and mainly, what about premiums? Premium ships are great. They're fun to have. They're fun to play. I've got a lot of them myself, so I'm not going to tell you guys to steer clear of premium ships. If you got the discretionary income to buy them, you've got the extra shipyard resources, whatever, by all means, get your, pick some premium ships up if you're able to. I'm never going to tell you not to do that. In fact, I've done some premium ship videos. Somebody's asked me on Discord. I had some extra time, so I went ahead and did them. That being said, most battleship premiums in this game, they're very balanced. That's the one thing I do like about this game. For the most part, like I said, I'm saying this again. For the most part, most ships are fairly well balanced. Obviously, there's some exceptions. But when we're talking about battleships, though, there's a lot of balance. So let's have an honest conversation about one ship in particular, and that's obviously the Atlantico. And I'm gonna throw in a couple more here just for comparison's sake. If you are a new battleship player, or you're a battleship player, let's say you've been playing battleships for a little while, and you're watching my videos trying to pick up some tips and pointers, I got a challenge for you guys. Okay. First and foremost, let's talk about the Roma real quick. The Roma is a very strong ship. It always has been. I didn't buy it for the longest time because I thought it was a little too overpowered, and I saw a lot of them in game. So, like, the thing about Roma, if you have some weakness in your general battleship play, if you have a weakness in your game, Roma's strong enough to kind of hide some of those weaknesses, try to cover them up for you. The same thing about, like, Slava. Slava's a strong ship. It's got some, if you position wrong in Slava, you're going to get obliterated. So it does have that going for it. But the guns are really strong on that ship. And, maybe they're too strong. So if you're not aiming properly, but Slava's guns are really strong. So, they kind of compensate for a little bit bad aim on a ship. The worst offender of this group is the Atlantico. Atlantico has been nerfed since its release, thank God. It had a real problem with its armor, especially its deck armor was like ridiculously strong. Obviously they nerfed the deck armor back to normal levels. It's not an invincible ship, but if you have weaknesses in your battleship play, or you're just starting to learn battleships, this ship is not going to help you learn how to play a battleship properly. If you have some bad habits in battleships, this ship's just going to reinforce those bad habits, or it's going to teach you some new ones. So I've got a little challenge for you guys. And you guys need to be honest with yourselves here about this. My challenge to you is, let's look at your stats in the Atlantico. Take a peek at them. You see what my damage output in this beast is, what my stats are on it. When I show stats, when I'm doing videos, when I show you stats on a ship, it's to show you what the potential is. I know there's players that have better stats than me on a lot of these ships. And I know there's players that have, their stats aren't as good. So if you're playing certain ships and you're having trouble understanding them, and then I come out with a video and say, hey, look, guys, this is how I think the ship should be played. Here's my stats on it. It's really to show you the potential of the ship. And let you guys know that, hey, maybe I am doing something a little wrong with this particular ship. Maybe there's something I could be doing different. Maybe if I pick up a couple of Soulfire's tips, maybe I can become a better battleship player, right? So what I want you to do, and like I said, personal challenge, and be honest with yourself. Take a peek at your Atlantico. If you have it, take a peek at it. Look at the stats. Look at your win rate. Look at your destruction ratio and ships destroyed. Look at your win-loss rate, your MVP rate. Kind of just screenshot that for yourself, okay? I don't want you to compare your Atlantico stats to my Atlantico stats. I don't want that. I want you to look at your Atlantico stats. And then if you've ground up any other Tier 8 tech tree ships, find those. Take a peek at them real quick. See if you can, look at battles played, win rates, destruction ratio, MVP rates. Look at all that. Compare them to your Atlantico stats. See what the difference is in them. Okay? I'm going to find my next Tier 8 tech tree ship. There's my Hawk stats. Again, I'm kind of looking at my win rate, destruction ratio, MVP rate. There's my Vladdy. But look at, like I said, just look at them, guys, and compare them. And like I said, be honest with yourself when you're looking at these stats. Is there a huge disparity in your stats between the ships? And if there is, guys, maybe it's time, and this is where the personal challenge part comes in. Go ahead and park your Romas and your Atlanticos. Put them in port for, let's call it a month. Focus more on your tech trees. Maybe watch one of my videos. Watch another content creators. Take a peek at some other stuff. Implement maybe a tip or two into your gameplay. But I'd say, like I said, screenshot like your top 5 Tier 8 battleships and your Atlantico stats and maybe your Romas. And just set them aside for like a month. Park your Romas, park your Atlanticos, bring out your tech tree ones if you still have them. Or some of your, a little more normal premiums. Like maybe a Massachusetts or, maybe your Black Kansas if you have it. Focus on fundamentals on your other ships for 2 weeks, a month, whatever. But focus on them. Come back to them afterwards. Screenshot them again. Compare the screenshots together. And let's see if you guys improve a little bit on those tech tree ships. Then come back in and play your Romas and your Atlanticos and take what you've learned. Replan some of these other ships. Take what you've learned and bring those basic skills back into your Atlanticos and Roma. And see how much better you've played those ships. You're playing those ships then. Like I said, Be honest with yourselves. I'm not trying to stat shame anybody here. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to do anything but issue a personal challenge. Park the Romas, park the Atlanticos, bring out your tech trees, and practice some fundamentals for a couple weeks. Then come back to the premium ships, and let's see how much better you play in those premiums than you did beforehand. With that, guys, hope you enjoy it, and I hope you actually, I hope some of you take up the challenge. I'd love to see where you're at now versus where you're going to be at in a couple weeks. Have a good one.